as U.S. authorities target the emerging business. Cryptocurrency is now extinct in America. Chalmut, a billionaire, says. I won't mention his last name. I usually make mistakes. Hello there, lovely individuals. So when I read this story, I thought, okay, right, we've been talking about this lately. The US government might be a little bit shooting itself in the leg when there is so much regulatory ambiguity. The SEC and the CFTC engage in these kinds of actions. What is happening here? Will the United States outlaw cryptocurrency? What will occur in this situation? Are all US businesses planning to relocate to other countries? What does this indicate for the market for cryptocurrencies? All I ask is for you to give me a lovely smile. Smash the like button and then let's start talking. Recently, the CEO of Coinbase has been quoted in numerous papers as indicating that moving the business outside of the US is a possibility city. And we observe that the CFTC accuses Finance and its founder of operating in a legitimate digital asset derivative exchange while knowingly violating federal law. Of course, the FTC issue was something that was pretty horrible, yet the US being freed was indicted by the government. The US decision to permit bankrupt Voyager to sell user accounts to Binance has been the one positive development over the past several weeks. The judge kept pushing for that and she or he can trillion a member, kept keeping it from happening, so US kept getting shut down after that. It's possible that people will get some of their money back from Voyager. Thus that is happening. Gary Gensler, the federal chairman, was just here when testifying before Congress. He was essentially shivering in his boots as he was asked a variety of questions concerning the Bitcoin market. All of these clips of him testifying went viral. He essentially didn't really respond to many of the queries. He attempted to re-defer it, block it, or answer their questions in a different way. And it's causing us to believe that the US doesn't want cryptocurrency. They notice FTX and scams, for example, and say, you know what? It's too much of a hassle for us. The regulations that govern cryptocurrency aren't really laws at all. They're just 30, 40 years old and no longer apply. They need to make changes, pass laws. But instead of doing any of those things, they're just looking at all the negative things that are happening. And considerable efforts are being made to try to combat this by the European Union, the UK countries in Asia, and the UAE. Sharmat is also one of the most influential people in the world when it comes to startups, cryptocurrencies, and other similar topics. Because of this, he is well liked in his most recent podcast, which is completely new, not just him. There are a couple other people on the podcast as well. He mentioned regulators such as the SEC and US Securities Exchange and Commissions. The chair Gary Gensler is adamant about going after the industry. The wealthy investor asserts that average people are doing everything in their power to drive the digital asset space out of the country. Since crypto now poses such a danger to the government and the established financial system, America has abandoned cryptocurrency. You employed Gensler even attributing crypto to the banking crisis, right? That was crazy. You may recall that they claimed that two of the bankrupt banks had some transactions with cryptocurrencies, and even one of them, the USDPEG, had $3 billion in it. How is that? Even the reason the bank failed is unrelated. USC is dependent because the bank failed, not the other way around. I have no idea what Gary is considering. He must be a wise man, right? He couldn't teach at MIT, for example, without being a brilliant man. He could not have gotten this job. I find it occasionally mind-boggling how politicians or other persons in positions of authority essentially work to maintain their position while failing to accomplish their jobs well. He then says this. Therefore, the American authorities have pointed their guns directly against crypto. To be fair to the regulators, I simply believe that these were the startup economy sectors that pushed the boundaries the most compared to other sectors, making them the most dangerous to the status quo. They're currently paying a price for that. For them, the bill is now due. The SEC is also criticized by Padea Polyjamat for treating Coinbase unfairly, despite the cryptocurrency exchange's efforts to comply with the law. The venture capitalist emphasizes how defunct crypto exchange FTX came the closest to receiving approval from the top regulatory agency. Coinbase followed the rules, waited in line, and made an effort to act morally. Every step along the way seems to confirm this. Even though they now attempt to engage with authorities, they were arguably the furthest away from receiving a license, despite everything from board compensation to executive salary. The most bogus candidate was the one that came the closest. What kind of a scenario is this? I'll explain how even this is doable. Greasing was being done right. Hands were being greased by FTCS. This is also how things operate in Washington. If you want something done, you have to spend a lot of money on it. Know the right people and know the proper lobbyists. In addition to grease in their palms. And FTX was acting in that manner. They were trying to influence lawmakers by using user money. And this only serves to highlight how horrible things are and why the US government is run the way it is. I previously shared this tale, but I recently saw a politician being interviewed and they asked him what is the most important thing that you need to do after you get elected. And do you know what he said in response? Obviously, the goal is to win re-election. Then it seemed like AIDS intervened and objected. I said, "Oh, no. To assist my supporters." Yes, that is the most crucial factor. Consequently, they all desire re-election. They are afraid of losing their jobs. And as a result, if they consistently cast their votes in a particular way, those in positions of authority frequently assist them in winning re-election. Voters' campaign contributions and similar matters. The cryptocurrency market is currently in a very strange situation as a result of what's happening. Just a few months ago, it seemed as though the market might be coming to an end. There were stories saying things like, "Oh my God, crypto is gone, Bitcoin is gone. It's a scam and oh my God, it's at 15,000. At that time. But what's the word now that cryptocurrency has sent Bitcoin back to somewhere around 30,000? The consensus is that cryptocurrency is making a comeback. Naturally, we haven't yet returned to these prices for Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies. All-time highs. However, there is a sense of increased confidence. Even in the most recent days there has been a slight decline. The level of confidence is still very strong, so it will be fascinating to watch if there are more of these pieces and more high-ranking individuals telling people to leave the US, right? Keep in mind that cryptocurrency is a worldwide phenomenon, not only in the United States, however. Additionally, it is what is taking place elsewhere in the world. If all of these businesses are forced to leave the US, 1, 2, 3, or possibly all of the exchanges will continue to operate there while the others won't. And for the US customer, that will be sad. However, there will still be cryptocurrency, right? It's simply unfortunate that the US government is losing tax money as a result of pushing all of these businesses out of the country and into other nations, isn't it? They might be collecting taxes from these large corporations and producing money, but instead they are driving them out. Therefore, it will be fascinating to observe how everything turns out. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments area. Of course, if you want to begin your trading trip, check out the links in the description below. Check out the wonderful goodies you can receive if you join up with my link. I appreciate your attention. I hope to run into you again soon and let's make a lot of money, as I usually say.